Hello everyone, thank you all so much for tuning into today's case. Today's case is going to be on Lacey Allen Fletcher. Lacey was a 36-year-old woman who suffered from complete paralysis, a condition known as locked-in syndrome. On January 3rd, 2022, she was found dead on her parents' couch, covered in feces, and her body had reportedly melted into the couch. Now let's start from the beginning. Lacey was born November 25th, 1985. She grew up in Slaughter, Louisiana, and her parents were Clay and Sheila Fletcher. I believe that Lacey was an only child. There has not been any reports of her having any siblings. Lacey's parents have been described as church-going pillars of the community. Sheila worked at a court as a clerk in Baker, Louisiana. There has not been any information on what Clay did for work. He was an officer for a non-profit organization, which was on a mission to educate and foster and appreciate for the sacrifices made by all of the people during the Civil War. Lacey seemed to have a fairly normal childhood. She attended Brownsville Baptist Academy, where she played on the volleyball team. A Fletcher family neighbor, Robert Blades, described Lacey as just a fun and normal kid. Lacey was on the autism spectrum, and her condition intensified around 9th grade at the age of 14. Her parents took her out of school and apparently began to homeschool her. Robert Blades, the neighbor, also has a son named Robert, and he said she became different. She just didn't see things the way a lot of other kids did. She was definitely different from the other kids her age. I knew she was not your typical teenager. After Lacey was pulled out of school, very few people saw her. It is reported that in 2017, Robert Blades, the neighbor, asked Clay, Lacey's father, about her because he hadn't seen her in so long. And Clay just responded with that she was okay and that she was fine, and he hurried and changed the subject. Robert had thought that Lacey had gotten married or moved on because that was how long it was since he had saw her. On January 3rd, 2022, around 2 a.m., Sheila Fletcher called 911 to report that Lacey was not breathing. It is unclear why she decided to call at this time, but some reports say that a neighbor was present in the home and told her she had to call authorities. Robert Blades said, "There was one neighbor here. We don't know who it was. They had supposedly seen Lacey on the couch like that and told the parents they had to call the police." But he also said that that's what they were told, and he didn't know how much truth there was in that. A sheriff's deputy was dispatched to the scene quickly and called Coroner Ewell Bickham. The description of the scene they encountered is very, very graphic. Dr. Bickham said, "Opened the door, walked into the house. There was a stench, an odor, feces, fecal matter, urine. You couldn't hold your breath." Upon further investigation, authorities determined that Lacey had not been seen by a doctor since she was 16. That was over 20 years. The coroner had reported that Lacey died 24 to 48 hours before her mother called 911. Lacey weighed 96 pounds and she had COVID when she died. Lacey's parents said during questioning that she was intellectually sound until the end of her life. Sheila's story was that Lacey was alive at 10 p.m. Sheila said she fell asleep in a chair, and when she woke up at 2 a.m., she found Lacey dead on the couch. Sheila also said that Lacey refused to get off the couch for years and would use the couch as a toilet. The DA said evidence at the Fletcher house suggested that Lacey had suffered prolonged neglect, likely for years before she died. Lacey was found with fecal matter shoved into her face, chest, and abdomen, authorities said. Lacey's hygiene had been allowed to deteriorate so much that her hair was matted and filled with maggots. Despite the conditions that Lacey was found in, her parents were not immediately charged. On May 3rd, 4 months after Lacey's death, both Clay and Sheila were charged with second-degree murder. They were arrested after a grand jury decided, along with attorney Sam DeQuella, that they should face second-degree murder charges and not manslaughter. Sheila was released on May 4th after she posted a $300,000 bail. Clay spent one more night in jail due to a bond delay, but was released the following day. The grand jury was shown extensive images of the conditions in which Lacey was found. Dr. Bickham told DailyMail.com they were so horrific and upsetting that medics were on standby for the 12 panel members. Dr. Bickham spoke outside the court after proceedings, and he revealed that Lacey had been on the couch for at least 12 years. Dr. Bickham, the coroner, also denied a report that Lacey had suffered from locked-in syndrome. Dr. Bickham later stated that he has no idea where that term came from, and in all of his years of being a physician, he had never heard of it. He said her only two diagnoses were social anxiety and autism. That's it. The couple's attorney had released a statement saying, "They don't want to relive the pain of losing a child through the media. They have gone through a lot of heartaches over the years. Anyone who has lost a child knows what it's like." Lacey's parents have pled not guilty and have not been sentenced yet, but they are facing murder charges. Honestly, to me, this case is so sad how her parents just basically left her and wanted to call it this term, locked in syndrome. They could have prevented her death, but instead they neglected her and mistreated her. And Lacey did not deserve that at all. And the fact that they're trying to play innocent now and they're like trying to act like they're confused on why they're facing murder just baffles me. They obviously did not take care of Lacey and didn't love her the way she should have been loved. And I really hope that they get charged with something and Lacey gets justice for how she was treated for so many years. Thank you all for listening.